I'm on the side of we don't need experts kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what I kind of see is like, I think people kind of got this attitude of like, you know, at the float center that I have been interning at, this was something that I sort of came up. That's like, because we'd sort of ask people come out for their float tank and, you know, say, okay, have a conversation with them about how they're going. And it's kind of like, oh, well, we're not counselors, we're not therapists, don't go there, you know, like we're not if they need to talk about that, don't go there. And it's kind of like, I think, yeah, there's sort of this risky territory where, you know, you don't want pseudo gurus that are going to make things worse for you by giving you false advice. But then we don't want this. I think we're sort of slightly a little bit one step too far in the direction of you know, oh, well, I'm not an expert. You have to talk about this with an expert. I'm not a professional. Like, oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm a little bit upset today. Whoa, I'm not a counselor. Go talk to someone else about that, you know. And so I think what's really important is just holding space for people. Like, we don't need to be experts on Stoicism to be able to enhance someone else's practice, right? This is what I've learned from doing sharing circles with my groups. So I'll read you this quote from Carl Rogers that's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, totally.
If I can provide a certain type of relationship, the other person will discover within himself the capacity to use that relationship for growth and change, and personal development will occur, right? So you don't need all the answers. If someone just says, oh, let's have a talk about Stoicism, this is what my experience has been, and then you can just relate to that in some way, or you say, well, this has been my experience, and then people say, oh, actually, yeah, I never thought of it that, like, it's just holding the space, right? You don't need to be an expert. I mean, it's definitely good to be able to have that wealth of knowledge to bring to people. But, you know, if you said, well, I can't host a podcast on Stoicism until I've done my PhD, then there's never going to be any podcasts on Stoicism, right? Like, just start small. So anyway, so this is what the Facebook page is a really good resource for, right? To make those connections between different people, you know, because I can tell you everything you need to know about willpower and habits, but there's many other things about. Someone is going to know. There's someone out there listening to this podcast who's going to say, I've been really working on my courage. I've been really working on overcoming my fears, you know, and there's someone who will be able to tell us about all the complex nuances that they've experienced from their process of learning to face adversity in whatever unique experience they have, right? And our unique experience will be slightly different, but somehow yet still relatable in a way that we can take that, right? And in a way that maybe it's not relatable from the original sources. You know what I mean? Like getting, you know, we don't like execution and stuff like that in, you know, the second discourse in Epictetus, where his mate that says, oh, I'm going to take lunch now, and then execution. Oh, I'm in the habit of exercising at this hour. If later I am to die, then I will die. But now I exercise, kind of thing. Like, I mean, I love that sort of shit just because it's weird and quirky. But for a lot of people, it's like, you know. But it's Stoicism in the 21st century is going to be different. There's going to be different, unique little things that we all need to come together to get a really clear picture of what's relevant, what's not relevant. How can we, you know?
Yeah.
So let's do it.